All right, check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yes, very quiet.
Very quiet.
Possible. Just need to check the audio,
Yeah, just checking the audio. How are you hearing with me? Let's see, and how you guys are hearing with Dave. Welcome, guys. If I need to lower the the desktop audio, let me know on how this all sounds. Happy Saturday, folks.
How you doing, chat? Provided everyone can hear us.
Yeah, hopefully everyone can hear us. Sounds okay so far. Okay,
nice. All right,
perfect. Well, welcome, guys, to the first annual SFL games and everything. I have the honor to be hosting it, but I also have the privilege to have Junkyard Dave also co-commentating. So, first of all, Dave, thank you so much for hanging out and bringing, your knowledge and experience and, just your talents, chatting with these talented racers.
Yeah. Speaking of my knowledge, of the 6 games that will be featured today, I have run 0. But no, it's good. Like, we know the games, or I know 5 out of 6 admittedly. I don't know anything but Daydream and JV, so first of all, sorry.
Yeah, and neither do I, so it's gonna be like a little bit of kind of winging it with Davey there, but but these runners, we're part of the Speedrun Friendly League. Really talented speedrunners. We have Supermain, we have Brybad, and then we have the relay team of Thumbros and Lincarius. They're going to be running 6 games for us here, just back to back to back. So let's actually go a little bit into talking, just a little bit about each one of these. Actually, talk about the rules of this first of all. So, so the rules of the game is this. So the race will begin at the first start of Journey to Silius. So they're going to be running 6 games. Journey to Silius, Daydreaming Davy, Double Dragon 2: The Revenge, Dartwing Duck, River City Ransom, and Vice Project 2. These are all games that they've ran, a month, during the year of 2024. Some people ran some of them, some people, skipped the, kind of the month and everything, but we're going to bring this showcase to you and everything. So, with each game that's completed, there's going to be a 1-minute break between each game, and then after the player loses control in the end of Double Dragon 2: The Revenge, there will actually be a 3-minute break, just with console changes and runner changes and things like that. So, but
Superman changes.
Yeah, Superman changes too. Yeah, exactly.
Throw him under the bus. It's Superman.
But at the end of the race is also going to be the final hit of the final boss of Vice Project 2, and that's when the race will be finished. Certain games are pretty unforgiving in a marathon setting. So for Double Dragon 2: The Revenge, they're going to be playing the Japanese version on easy mode, so they don't have to play the US. That there's no continues, so they can actually have continues, which is really kind. And then there's some soft locking in Daydreaming Davy that they are allowed to use continue codes during Daydreaming Davy if it needs to be. But they can use continuous, the game allows, but obviously no save states. They run this back to back. They're all well prepared, well knowledged, and everything like that. So, so that's kind of a little bit of the rules of the SFL games and everything. So I'm going to give a little bio on each of these, runners and everything like that. So their first runner-up is Supermain. He's been started speedrunning in April 2012. That's I was still in grad school when that happened.
Yeah, he's I feel old on Twitch at this point because I started in 2016 and he's older than me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then he started the SFL in May of 2021. He does a bunch of speedruns. He started with Pokemon. He's really branched out a lot with the retro stuff and everything. He is a current world record holder in Alfred Chicken for the Endless.
Prestigious world record there is. Oh, that's so good. I'm so happy that he got that for real.
Yeah.
He was grinding that.
Yeah. And he also has the world record in Game Boy, any percent and warpless of Alfred Chicken, so he definitely likes Alfred Chicken apparently, so. But also has a world record holder in WWF WrestleMania for the NES, but has put in some really solid times. He has 4th place in Vice Project Doom and 3rd place in Daydreamy Davy too. So I mean, has a lot of like pretty well experienced with just his just his time on Twitch and also time on speedrunning and everything. So
say one factoid about him too.
Yeah, apparently he's either so two truths and a lie. He's 6'4". He got into a school versus school fight, and then he's won a YMCA basketball championship. So I don't know which is true and which is false there. But I had each of these runners kind of do 2 truths and a lie. We'll see on how that stuff. I'll let you guys kind of keep thinking about that stuff. So
we could throw out a possibility for just Superman with this one.
Yeah.
Because all of these are like school or school adjacent. Maybe he's 6'4". He got in a school fight while winning a basketball championship.
It could be. I mean, yeah. I mean, it kind of works well. Like River City Ransom, like, that's one of the games in here, so that could be,
yeah, no, I think they're all truth.
Yeah. Yeah. So our next runner up here is Brybad. He's started streaming speedrunning in December 2019, so another pretty well experienced speedrunner and Twitch streamer as well. And started the SFL in June of 2021. He likes to do some retro games. He also likes to do a lot of like community games and modern games on his stream. Also another Alfred Chicken fanatic, but we don't have Alfred Chicken in this marathon, so too bad for these two guys. But but he also has tied Supa for the world record in the Game Boy version of any percent. So, which is kind of amazing because like they're like I think it's by like frames on how like tight their run is, but they both have the same time officially. But also has solid times in Darkwing Duck, 14:12, and then during Necilius, he has a sub 12 in during Necilius Warpless, which is really a solid time in the game as well. So, but also 2 truths and a lies for this guy. He is a certified elementary school teacher. He has DJ'd the weddings of many celebrities. And he was an extra in a music video that won a reward. So, I mean, that's some big bragging rights. That's some flexing on here. So.
Well, I can tell you, as somebody with my education actually being in education,
yeah.
There's no teacher in the world that can afford a seat like that. So,
yeah.
That's a lot.
And then our next order up here is we have Lincarius. So he started streaming relatively new in middle of 2022. Started speedrunning, doing Life Force, Jurassic Park for VBS, and then Fantasy Star for Randomizer. But he started the SFL in March of last year with Journey to Silius. But you can kind of see him doing a bunch of speedruns like Jurassic Park. You can see him doing all these different kind of speedruns, the Guardian Legend, you name it with it, and very obscure but very talented speedrunner. So like he has 2nd place in Jerry Dreaming Day. He's also 2nd place in Jurassic Park for the NES. So really talented dude, really good streamer, really talented.
Yeah, and legit, like go check these guys out for real. They're all people that I follow, and they're all really good at what they do, and they have good personalities. And Lynn in particular is really kind of like an oddball guy, because if he can run, I'm guessing, like at this point, like 30 or 40 games, like 39 of those games are like Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much Jurassic Park, but it's so cool. Like I've never seen anybody run the Super Nintendo version.
And I remember watching him like practicing Big 20, and he did Mega Man 4 was in the last Big 20, and his mash is unbelievable. Like
yeah,
his mash, I have never seen somebody mash so incredibly fast. So yeah, but 2 truths and a lie for Lincarius. When he tried to learn Life Force as his first speedrunning, he almost like quit. He almost was like, this is done with my speedrunning career. He's never satisfied with a 3rd place podium spot, and then he still has all of his original childhood video games. So, pretty, starting off Life Force as a first speedrun, I think that's kind of terrifying in my opinion. Like, I started with Chip and Dale, so Yeah.
Not all of us can make good life choices.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you had a tutorial, so that kind of helped me out in my defense. And then the last one, but not least, is Thumb Bros. So he started his speedrun career in summer of 2021, but started streaming in summer of 2020. His first time was also working on during Asilius in March of 2024 in the SFL. They're a great community there. They love Contra, they like low percent, they do all these different types of subcategories on some of these games too. Mega Man, Ninja Gaiden, Legend of Zelda. They actually just did a marathon of like 30 games yesterday, which is anybody that can do more than like 5 games, I think, and back to back is very talented. It's very impressive that you can memorize all that stuff. So, but yeah, 2 Truths and a Lie for Thumb Bros. He lost in the finals at an amateur All Valley punning tournament. He helped out with voice acting on the TV show Alf. And then he sold his Final Fantasy III US Super Nintendo complete in box, including posters, to Funkoland for $35.88 to buy a Madden 2000 for PS1.
Oh man, I hope I did 2 or 3. Like if he's not just like actual Elf, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I can imagine 3D miniatures. Like we've all made like kind of one terrible 3D miniature.
Yeah. So again, like just kind of reviewing the, kind of check these runners out and everything like that. I think they're getting ready for her. Kind of check in. See if they are ready and whatnot. So. So they look like they're warming up, they're getting ready, so everybody kind of give them some good looks and everything like that. So I'm just going to confirm everybody.
Ask one random question before we begin.
Go for it, yeah.
Do you happen to be in studio mode right now?
I am in studio mode right now.
May you please exit studio mode?
Absolutely, there you go.
Thank you so much, thank you. I understand these things. It was always showing me like the previous slide. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Worries. So, like I said, there's going to be 6 games that are going to be running. Linkurious is actually going to be doing the first 3 games. He actually showed it to us offline. He wasn't able to make it, but he was able to pre-record this, so we're actually going to be showing his recording. And then Thumb Bros is going to be kicking in after Double Dragon 2 to start with her. So it's going to be kind of a relay with Thumb Bros and Linkurious. So, darn work. So I'm going to kind of pull up a little bit of audio here.
No worries, man. What's up, Mike? Everybody else in chat. Yeah, I think like one of the trickier things.
I think we're just waiting on a couple runners in Discord right now, so. Yeah. Given. Oh, geez. Yeah, but I can post that up in a moment here. I'll post it in chat there, so anybody that's kind of interested, all those like fancy little letters. And let me know, folks, on how you guys are all doing and whatnot with game audio and everything like that. If I need to raise or lower it, just kind of tell me in the chat and whatnot. Alright, it looks like we have Supermain ready, we have Brybad ready, we have Thumb Bros ready, so we are going to be going. Yeah, we are off.
This was supposed to be a Terminator game, and Sunsoft actually lost the license a long time ago, and it became this like generic Journey to the Silliest game instead, where you're, I don't know the guy's name actually.
Isn't guy? Oh, I think it's Jay.
Jay.
It's Jay McLean or something like that. I don't know exactly.
Oh man,
yeah.
Alert.
Yeah.
Almost as good as Homer J. Simpson, but it's like but yeah, lots of cool tech in this game and lots of weapon swapping, as you can just see like Superman just did. You really want to conserve like certain guns and certain ammo quantities and stuff like that to make sure that you have like the proper amount of losses.
Right. Yeah, and there's limited continues as well too. So there is
Yes.
3 continues that you have. So they do want to play this kind of safe, because as we progress into further stages, it does get pretty trolly. Like you get some jumped inputs, there's some falling floors, things like that.
So do we know, because I don't, like I know that certain categories and stuff like that have death warps.
Mm-hmm.
Did these guys learn it with the death warps or no?
Supa did, but during the month we did warpless, so which was kind of nice. So it was kind of like but there is some death warps. I know Kung Fu's Mike was very well with burning it with a lot of the death warps, and so was Sarkonis. And they're really like very particular with like frame and like intentional hits and stuff like that with the any percent category. So
yeah, I believe the death warps like literally frame perfect, but
Mm-hmm.
I was curious to see if anybody would go for them or like what category this is. So, but yeah, it sounds like it'll be worthless. And honestly, that's probably better off in a race setting, because as you said, like game overs are finite. You can only die whatever it is like twice. So, or game over rather twice.
So it looks like everybody's doing really well. Like, you know, everybody's in the second stage, you know, maybe a few seconds, you know, between each other and whatnot, but it's a tight race right now, so.
Yeah, looks like Lynn is slightly in the lead, followed by Supa, followed by Brybad.
Yeah.
I'm actually very curious, like where every individual runner is going to be strong or weak or whatever the case is, just because I remember watching Brybad kind of like de-rust this game in particular.
Mm-hmm.
there was a bit of a struggle coming back to it.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard, especially like this game was, I think this is the oldest game that, you know, to de-rust and everything like that, because this was back in March of last year. So like if you haven't played this in like 9 months, I mean that's that's a lot of time. Like
that is a lot of time, yeah. Yeah, we have this boss that Supa is on, and it's actually like the bosses are like a weird combination in this game, because some of them are really easy and then some of them are really obnoxious. But I would find the quick kill, like I found the quick kill when I was going through this anyway, pretty easy on this guy. You just have to jump at a certain height and make sure that you shoot those grenade things at like the proper direction. So this guy's kind of a bit of a wash. So as Supa and
I'm curious. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I read the first thing first. And Brybad enters stage 3. I think this is where the game starts to kind of pick it up and slap you in the face a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a lot of trolling sections for sure into it.
Yeah, and it's worth noting too, you know, like if you're perfect with your running and like you're perfect with your execution and stuff like that, you can beat a lot of these cycles. Like a good example is obviously like Superman. He just like ran through like the laser, but as soon as you start getting hit around or hit accidentally and not taking like an intentional damage boost, you're gonna be waiting behind lasers, you're gonna be waiting behind weird enemy shots, you're gonna be dodging stuff, and it makes like going through all of this like 10 times is hard. So it definitely rewards consistency in terms of execution. And you can kind of see Lin there struggling a little bit. Supa is really doing quite well right now, actually. He hasn't really been held up by a whole lot of enemies.
Yeah, I think the one thing with Supa that it's been really, I think, good in his favor is he plays some of these games like just not to feel super rusty, which I think that's a struggle that I find with myself. Like I like play a run and then I'm like I'm good, but like when you're doing a game that you haven't played in 9 months, it's like the deep rust can be kind of heavy. So
yeah, no, absolutely, and he does actually. He's very varied in that way. Like I don't think he's really learned anything that I've seen him learn since I've known him, where he just like completely abandoned and never returned to it at some point. So he has like this kind of like diligent repertoire where like once he learns something, it's almost like on a permanent rotation or something like that. Maybe he does that to like avoid burnout, or I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but I do see that very often actually. Like he basically runs like everything.
So that screen that actually Brybad and Thumbros are kind of right at that just finished, I call it hallway hell, like because there's so many like projectiles everywhere that it's like trying to do that safe but also fast is really tricky. Like there's really small pixel windows that to not take damage. So they did it really well. Lin kind of took it a little bit safe, which is good. Because you can easily take a death really quickly there, and the checkpoint is pretty far back. So.
Pretty easy to die on the boss that Brybad just killed too.
Mm-hmm.
So good to see them kind of all get through that. What's up, Sweaty Papa Claus? One of the best names on Twitch. Welcome on in.
Yeah, so they're now in this 4th stage here, so yeah, they're all doing really well. Like this is, I'm very impressed with this time with everybody.
Yeah, no race tragedy yet.
Yeah.
See the first one that slips a little bit and what happens, but yeah. So far so good. And it's never been a thing when people are doing races. Yeah. Commentators ever curse.
Yeah, never commentators curse. That's never a thing.
Especially in this falling block section.
Yeah, right. That's stupid as that. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, he made it. That's fine. See?
Yeah.
Commentator curse, fake.
Yeah.
Just proven on Nate's stream.
Yeah.
Today in 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weird thing about those falling blocks is it's really easy to just fall with the blocks too.
And you can get like some like missed inputs, and like you're for some reason Jay's feet just get like, I don't know, like his shoelaces get caught up between the blocks. I don't know, like, but like, I think even in my PB, like I took a death there. Like it was just like every time I just fall right there. So even if I took my time.
Yeah, it's like if you jump on them, his feet just get covered in glue or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's notoriously easy, especially casually. But in the speedrun, like these jumps are pretty prone to that. Like I would say, like if there's a reset.
Oh no, Brybad.
Yeah, like,
yeah, like perfect example. Yeah.
Yeah, not only like with the blocks themselves, but like the enemies hanging by the sides of the corners and stuff. Yeah. But like if there's like a reset point when you're running this, and you kind of get the movement down, and you're not dying on the bosses and stages anymore. Like it's almost like the falling blocks is like the first reset point.
Yep.
It's like a pretty high place that you're gonna probably die at some point.
Oh, and then yeah, the last section right there too. This kind of section, there's a lot of mashing. So this is actually like kind of another example I was talking about with Curious. Like, I feel like this game there's a lot of mashing. Like I think he has a little bit of advantage, like just with like just his mashing skill. But I know he kind of struggled like I think a little bit with like trying to de-rust this. But he has really good times. He had a PB about a week ago that was like almost sub 13. So. Be nice to see like his time is on SFL. So he's making really good pace. So.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, and Supa right now is in stage 5, which is an auto scroller because you know every speedrunner loves a good auto scroller. So
the most important part about this auto scroller, which I don't know if the moonwalking. I was just gonna say
run is valid.
Yes. I was really gonna say I don't know if you can hear the commentary or whatever, but you can absolutely moonwalk in this stage. So we saw it. He's doing it. Like, let's go. But yeah, that makes this auto scroller a little bit better. Cool little glitch here that doesn't really change anything or save time.
Yeah, and it's good taking a death right there, right at this auto scroll, because that's just going to eat a lot of time too.
Yeah. So you want to talk about the final boss coming up, because there's quite a quick kill that if you get it saves a huge amount of time, which I'm assuming they're all going to go for.
I don't know. I know about the thing. I've never gotten like the quick kill of the. Are you talking about the ship?
Yeah, the ship. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
So yeah, I guess like the ship quick kill, I don't know exactly the frames behind it, but it's pretty tight. It's like a 1 frame window, 2 frame window, that kind of nonsense. But basically you can kill it before it cycles all the way from like the right to the left, or the left to the right, whatever it is. But like basically there's a huge cycle, and if you miss it, like it's basically like 20 seconds, like 30 seconds lost, because you have to wait for the ship to move all the way back over to kill it. But it requires some pretty precise jumping and shooting or combination thereof. I don't know the game and the strats that much, but I know it's like, again, one of those things where if you don't get it, like, you lose a huge amount of time.
Yeah, I know. I think it's not allowed in the warp list though. I think they technically call it like warp list or a warp, but not warp. I think they'll consider that for warp list. So I think it's only allowed in 8%. I'm not 100% sure. I think it just goes in. So I don't know. I tried a little bit of any percent, and I was like, I can't do these death warps. I'm just Alright, Brybad's out of stage 4, so yep, and now Supa's actually in the final boss here, so seeing how this is the Terminator.
Yeah, literally still the Terminator. Like, they didn't even change it at all. What could have been. But yeah, this boss kill is kind of weird because it's both easy and difficult. Because as long as you keep, that was really good.
Yeah, that was very good. GG's with that Supa.
Yeah, no, that was good. As long as you kind of keep the rhythm, it's pretty easy. But as soon as you break the rhythm or something goes wrong, like, you're gonna get knocked around a lot. And it's pretty hard to recover.
Yeah, and Lin is actually pretty close too. He's on PB pace, so pretty close to it, I think. I don't know how my timing is and whatnot, so we'll see.
I mean, Brybad's pretty good too, because like, he took that one death falling off.
Yeah. He took a game over in stage 4, but he's making up really good time. And again, this is a marathon. Anything can happen in these next games, so Supa is on his way to Daydreaming Day. I don't know what the heck Daydreaming Day is gonna go.
I don't know anything, dude. Like, we're just gonna be silent for like the next like 20 minutes.
GG's Lin Carius on that. Very nice job with that. So,
was that a PB for Lin?
It was a 13:05 on his end. I think that might be a PB, like a few seconds of it. So that's really good.
Well, combat. That's a word. Possibly, congratulations, Lin. If that was a PB. I think I tried to put all of that together into one word that doesn't exist until now. Yeah, what's kind of interesting is Lin is extremely good at Daydreaming David, although I guess Superman is too. So it'll be interesting to see how much time he can pull back there. but the only thing that I know about this game is like it happens to share my name. Like I really.
Are you daydreaming, Dave?
I think so. Yeah. Like man, I actually watched like Lynn grind this originally, and then I watched some of the SFL guys like randomly. I still don't understand what's going on in the route. Like I know the basics, where you're basically like this kid that I think literally is daydreaming, and you go through like different eras of time, presumably because they're like different eras of like the daydream and stuff like that. And at the very end, you wind up in like this western spot where you're like shooting a bunch of people with a gun. And I'm like, I don't know how we got there, but that's how we got there, and that's how it ends.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I honestly don't know like much about the tech in this game or anything like that, other than I guess like you can kind of see where Lynn is right now. So like, you start off in like a medieval era, and kind of I guess need to move forward in time to like the Western era or the era. I'm not sure.
And GG's Brybad on that. Very nice. Everybody's out of Journey to Silius. Okay, nobody has to restart it, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, there you go. GG Brybad. And to be fair too, I'm very curious how Brybad will do for the rest of this race, because this was the first game, but I honestly think, like, very objectively, this was maybe the worst one that when I watched him personally anyway. He was not, like, super strong in de-rusting. So I feel like every game from here on out, in theory, should be better for Brybad.
So again, like with each game here, they're going to be hoping, like waiting a minute for just until the next game kind of pops up and everything. So, but after Daydream Davy will be Double Dragon 2: The Revenge, which that will be another kind of interesting game because they're actually going to be doing the Japanese easy thing. So it's going to be a little bit less sweaty, but still pretty sweaty with Double Dragon 2.
Double Dragon 2 is... that's a game for sure.
Yep.
That's actually one of the first things I ever watched on Twitch, because one of the first people that I ever followed on Twitch, he actually still has the record 8 years later, and it's a guy named Baze86. And he has like an otherworldly good time. It's like minutes faster than other people. Like it's really good. Like he's so good at that game. I think it's like 8:56 or something like that, 8:46. Like it's really, really low.
Yeah, and I know like Poison Curls, who's a Mega Man speedrunner, he actually has the world record in Daydream Davy, which he grinded that for a while. I can't remember if somebody took the world record from him and then he came back. I don't remember. I don't know the daydreaming lore of SRC.
I don't know either. I knew he had the record, and that's basically all.
Yeah. Or maybe he had I know he did an improvement on like the world record as well too, but he actually helped a lot of these runners out. He actually made a tutorial because this was a Big 20. I think that's what inspired him to run this, because this was part of Big 2018, I believe, or 19. I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember, but that would make sense because like I don't remember it being in Big 20, although I'm sure it was. But I do remember Overswarm originally running it too, and he was trying to figure out like different strats and kind of like what Lynn was talking about in chat. So I did see Overswarm run it, which would make sense because like he's staff on Big 20, so probably came from that afterwards. And then I guess got routed down. So would the route change be like why you started in the Western world? When I again don't know enough about this game, but I know everybody else like winds up in the Western world towards the end. But
yeah, and the tricky thing with like the Western world, like you'll kind of see like there's like they have to do this drawing on like the sheriff or like a bad guy, but if you miss like the attack, it's an automatic, I think, like lossable, I think, for which it's brutal. Like I remember Supa doing PB attempts on it, and like he got to like the very end, like he missed the timing of it because I think it's a smaller window.
See, I don't know, and I was always actually very curious and like asking somebody that runs this, how hard is that? Like, I've never seen anybody fail it, but at the same time, like I don't know. Like I really don't know about this game. I'm just trying to find things to say, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw myself out there. Help us!
Yeah. So
every other game, I'm okay.
I know that right now Lynn is currently in the Greek mythology world, and like you have to and now he's like in hell. Again, again, like it's all over the place, like daydreaming gaming, just with all these different types of things. Like this kid is dreaming about all different type of stuff.
Today I've learned that Greece is like a portal to hell.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, Super had to take a continue there.
So does this game, do we know, does it have infinite continues or?
No, it doesn't. So they are able to do a continue code in it. So what up, Mega Virtual Man? But yeah, like it's and that's where it was just like, it was really, you know, this is a pretty unforgiving game in a marathon. I think like that's where it, like, you know, especially if it, like you take a death and like you don't want to start all over from the beginning. So and there is soft locks too in this as well. So
well, maybe you can explain where they are. If you know, like I know
that I do not know.
Like, okay. So there's soft locks.
I know there's soft locks somewhere in this game.
All right. Well,
I should have done more research with this. I was too busy trying to set up the stream.
That's okay. Yeah. See, we'll make up for the commentary on the next 4 games. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like we know the next 4 games. It's just this one. It's just like it's such an oddball. Like to be fair too. Like before this was in a Big 20. I had never seen this game before. Like I said, like during kind of like the pre-show thing where you're like going through the runners and stuff. Like I made my account in 2016. I never saw this game until this year, or I guess it would have been last year. Specifically when like Lynn and Overswarm started like running it. So there's just like this huge chunk of time that you don't see this thing on Twitch. Like I didn't know this game existed until Twitch. I never had anybody growing up, like a friend that had it. Like I never rented it. I never knew this thing ever existed ever. So I think it's just one of those games where, to me anyway, like my knowledge, just general knowledge about it is extremely low.
Supo looks like he's having a hard time with the little draw. Like I guess commentator's curse. I was just talking about the drawing thing. Like he's getting shot by this one, like the shootout, and there's a small frame that you have to like beat him to kind of the gunshot, and you actually had to take another continue. So I don't know if it's like something with this controller or it just like it's I think it's hard. Like I dabbled with this a little bit, and this game is not.
I think it also doesn't have great controls either, so that doesn't help.
Yeah. Has a little bit of jank. I mean, there is some games in the SFL that there's some jank. I mean, WWF Wrestling, it's a little jank. So pretty, yeah. I do have a question for you that's very serious. Yeah.
Why was Superman running around whipping cactuses?
I think it's to get items, if I'm not mistaken, or money, so he can buy bullets to do the shootout, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, cool. there it is.
Cactuses.
There he goes. Yeah. So now he's in the mythology area. So.
Alright, progress.
Yeah, progress.
You shot the guy that kept shooting him.
Yep. And so did Lynn. Lynn just did that too.
There you go.
Yeah.
Almost in sync that I don't know who that guy is, but he almost got shot to death at the same time between 2 different runners. So that would effectively mean that Brybad is currently in lead.
I think Lynn is a little more progressed. They go to the Western world a few times. If I'm not mistaken.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like a repeat thing. They go back and forth in different areas. So I think Brybad is now in hell. So yeah, and he has a chariot that which is death with him. Like that kind of comes right.
I think maybe we need to specify he's in video game hell.
Yeah, in video game hell. Yeah, I should say that. Daydreaming
Maybe
Davey.
not, like...
Yeah, Daydreaming Davey. Hell, more or less than anything. I will mention, like with Ryback, there's a section in this. There's parts of the floor that like is quicksand that actually eats you and like is another death. So there's like you have to be really precise in this area to kind of the hell world, I guess you would say. So like their movement has to be pretty precise with that.
How many times do you visit the Western world if you're in Western? Because I know the game ends in the Western world, but I, again, have no idea how many times you visit it back and forth and stuff like that. 3, okay.
So Brybad is onto like Cerberus here, and essentially there's a cheese way. Yeah, he's doing the cheese way here. So like you literally go to the side of it and just stab it, and you won't take any damage. So which is actually pretty pretty nice. Speedrun strat. I do remember that. So I was watching that with Big 20. I think actually Big 20 ended that, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was a little bit further. So I think right now Bry might be slightly ahead of Supa, and I think Lynn is actually in the lead. But like I said, Lincarius is very knowledgeable with Daydreaming Davey, so...
Yeah, no, he is for sure. I mean, like, out of everybody that ran this, that I watched, like, as I said, like, I follow all these guys, I definitely saw Lynn, like, grind this to a pulp.
Yeah.
Like, the other two ran it a little bit, and they returned to it a little bit, but definitely didn't spend as much time on it as Lynn did.
Yeah, and this was the game that Lynn actually chose for the SFL for that month, too. So, like, he definitely had, like, some personal, like, appreciation for it. So I feel like for any game that, like, you chose, like, I chose Journeys of Silius. It was just really, like, I think it really depends on, like, I feel like you put in a little extra, like, on a favorite game, you know? Yeah, so Supa's now on the Subarus and everything like that. Welcome on in, Leah. Welcome on in, Pixelpon Productions. So Bry is back in the Western world, and I want to say, I'm curious is like I don't know what it's called, but I think it's in the mythology area, but I think it's like the heaven area part of it. So. And generally, Daydreaming Davey, I think like the world record is a sub 17 if I'm not mistaken. So, it's not a short game. So,
the only random thing that I can kind of say about like the Daydreaming record was I was actually around when like Poison Curls got it. Because I don't know who rated him, but I was rated into his channel, and I was literally there and I was watching him, and then I went down to eat breakfast, and when I came back upstairs he just got the record. I was like, oh, okay. So I missed it eating breakfast, but like when I came back up, like the stream was done or whatever, and he rated it to somebody else, and I was like, dang. So I was there in spirit anyway.
And I think, like, with this game, it's, like, kind of like, I don't know, like, I want to compare to Metroid just in regards of, like, it's kind of a labyrinth. Like, there's a lot. It's not, like, the straight left to right. You know, it's all over the place, like Zelda-ish. I am terrible at those games. Like, I get lost in the grocery store. So, like, knowing, or being able to relate to it and stuff like that, I'm very impressed on how they can do this very efficiently and, like, I would have to have like big notes. So.
What's up, Pixel Pond? I saw that we used to have like way back in like the 1950s. There was a recyclable grocery list. If you can imagine that. And it was basically like almost like a sheet of metal that had, you know, like an insert that you could insert yourself, or maybe there was like pre-bought ones that said like bread, eggs, milk, and there was like little sliders that you would slide over once you bought those things. So I was like, huh. So this, I guess, was the hook shot that Lynn was talking about. So I'm assuming that was a spot where you could have soft blocked, but maybe, hopefully, thankfully, he didn't.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's doing really good. Yeah.
Okay, it was the soft block.
Yeah, it was the soft block spot. Okay.
He said hook shot on the bridge earlier. So
yeah.
What causes the soft block? I'd be curious to know. I'm sure you would know that. So that means that is Supa going to soft block, whereas Brybag gonna soft block.
One of the 3 runners didn't soft block yet, so fingers crossed, pray that nobody soft blocks. Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of this menuing too. Like, you know, I think apples like give you health, and then there's a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
So he says killing the enemy on the bridge is safe. If it's too soon to kill, you soft block. If you get hit when you're hooked, you can soft block.
Okay.
So, basically everything is bad about that bridge.
Yeah. Just pray and hope for the best, essentially. Alright, so Brybad looks like he just is approaching the Medusas here. I think Supa is coming pretty close by him, too. I think either just past that or is right on that path, too. So they're pretty close back to back there.
Yeah, he did pretty good after struggling a little bit there. Like, it's been smooth sailing after he got out of like whatever the Western world was. It was kind of choking up a little bit.
Yeah.
He hasn't experienced too much suffering since then, so.
Some feed into Bryband. He's like in the heavens area that Limcarius was in a few minutes ago, so I think
Sorry, Brybad no longer in hell. Brybad
is now in heaven.
Whatever he was doing in the past, like he atoned for it. Let's go, Brybad. That 180 character swap.
And I think Limcarius just finished with Daydream Davy, so
yep.
GG's with that.
GG. I remember that face. So what beautiful sprite! Whoa! Beautiful sprite work in this game. It always blows my mind. Like, there was an artist that was paid actual money to make that sprite.
Yeah. I always find like these little cutscenes are pretty entertaining in this game, and just like there's audio. Like for the NES, having like words like in it is pretty advanced. So like,
it's insane how much cart space that took up.
Yeah. To say bummer.
I know. Like Sesame Street. Like I don't know what it was. It was like Sesame Street, like Speak and Spell or something like that. And like Big Bird is very vocal. Like, he's got like a bunch of little voice lines, but it's like 80% of the cart. Like, it was a tremendous amount of space back then, which is like a laughable amount of space right now. It's like a notepad, and you type like FFF in it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm out of here. I remember that. I remember that. That was another audio cue. So Limcarius is on Double Dragon 2: The Revenge. They're playing the Famicom Japanese version on easy percent just because continues. You can actually have continues in this, and there's also less hits. You can kind of see with this in general. You can just knee and just punch these Lindas, they're called, and like you normally have to like do an uppercut and do 2 damage. Like with some of these enemies, it's 1 or half the damage. So, which this was the game that Supermain picked for one of the months, which I struggled with. I am not a good beat 'em up person, so
this one's pretty rough. Japanese version makes it a lot easier for sure, but like the knee attack, I don't know what changes in the Japanese version in terms of like the frame windows and stuff like that, but at least in the North American version, every single time that you see that knee, it's a 4-frame window. And there is a lot of literally RNG in this game. I was actually mentioning like the guy that I met super early on Twitch. Like, this was one of the first, it was one of the first runs that he ran. Like he still has the record to this day, you know, like 8 plus years later. And he was really telling me, like, imagine this. He's like, this is how it is as a speedrun, at least on the North American version, which probably carries over a lot to the Japanese version. Every pack of enemies that you experience in this game all have basically a set number of patterns that they can have. The set number of patterns that they have is based off the frame that you get there. And based on the RNG and the frame that you get there, it determines you basically need to do like one of like 3 or 4 different strats. So you're constantly literally deciding in real time, like, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with that? And unless you're extremely consistent, like effectively the enemies will begin to become RNG, they'll become weirdly weird, they'll do a bunch of weird stuff. So there's a lot of that like that. And definitely depending how you've learned this game, there's basically like a fast way to like eliminate. Like for example, like you could have like kneed both of the helicopter guys like off the cliff as they spawn in like that.
Yeah. Or like toss them in the pit like Gislin just did with that one guy.
Yeah. So there's like so many strat, and it'd be very curious to see like obviously like what they go for. But the only thing that I would know, or sorry, that I have a question about that maybe you would know, is when you said that they tried to do like the Japanese version. At the very beginning, there was, I guess, a strat. Did they not opt to go for that? Because originally, I guess they were talking about how if you start in 2 players, which I didn't know that, and you kill the second player, you actually get their like life pool.
So we did have a discussion in regards of doing the 2-player versus the Japanese version, but I think part of the Japanese version, there's unlimited continues. You just start back at the beginning of the level that you took the game over on. So I know for myself, and I think also for the Curious, we struggled a lot with like, because when we worked on this game that month, we played the US version, the Supreme Master, with all the levels, and like it took me probably 70 runs to finally beat the game, and that was like the only time I got like a recorded time. I'm just done.
Yeah, no, like this game is effectively random unless like you really nerd and obsess about it. So it's just like suck through the helicopter.
Yeah, but there is like some depth of use with the 2 players that you can get some extra lives. But like even the final boss, I mean, like he can be completely random, control you, and you can just take many deaths with that. Pretty cool. I was actually watching the world record of this, of the Japanese easy ways, and it's actually really interesting. He does some depth of use just to scroll the screen a little bit quicker, just to save a few seconds right here.
Literally, actually, where Lynn is right now, he just walks into the water, and how that works is it actually spawns the Lindas in a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
These girls being Lindas, like that's their actual like instruction.
Yeah. We're not just like calling them Linda, like Linda, listen.
I mean, I was, but it just so happens to also be named that in the manual, so I'm kind of safe there.
Yeah, and Brybad just finished Straight Demon Davey, so GG's Bride. So he's heading up to Double Dragon. He didn't soft lock, so yay.
Right on. But yeah, as you're saying, like there is depth of use, so without like you want to go for the depth of use to obviously save time and like set up different strats and stuff like that. But at the same time, you obviously don't want to die intentionally or unintentionally too many times, because I guess there's limited continues or unlimited continues, sorry, in the Japanese version. I don't know where it sends you back to though. I guess the beginning of the stage.
At the beginning of the stage it generally does. Yeah. Which like if you're interested in playing the speedrun, I would highly recommend doing the Japanese version before doing the US version, because even like casually, it's a difficult game. Like, I've never beaten a Double Dragon game. Like, I actually only had Double Dragon as a kid. Like, I never even touched this game like until this month that we speedran it, and I got pretty salty.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
See, the funny thing, actually, on Brybad's screen, there was like that blinking finger. And I remember Baze telling me that even that is random. Like, that's how much RNG is in this game. So at the very beginning, I didn't see how many blinks it was, but like you can see it on Supa, because like it's just about to start also Double Dragon 2.
Yeah.
You can either blink 4 times or you can blink 5 times. And in theory, I think if it actually blinks 5 times, like you literally lose a little bit of time with how the enemies spawn in afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So on like crazy, you know, like world record paces where all this stuff matters, like you want the finger to blink 4 times. It's like, what a weird, dumb mechanic.
That is.
So we'll see if he gets bad RNG. Let's see. Well, the first finger blink. Is it 4 or 5? Show me the 4. Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4! There you go. So blessed with good RNG.
Yeah.
Everything will go good for him, clearly.
Yeah, so now Supa is now in Double Dragon 2, so we're out of Daydream and Davy, so we're now all in Double Dragon 2 now. So. This is pretty close though. Like, I mean, Lingarius is a few stages ahead. We'll see. You know, hopefully that will give Thumbros a little bit of time. I know Thumbros just kind of learned Vice Project 2, relatively new with it, so
that's a tall order to learn in a short period of time.
Yeah. So, but I mean, he's put in some good work. I think he got a sub 20 last time I checked it from the Discord. That I think he was pushing for a sub 20. So, like, that's really awesome. That he can push that far that quick. Like, and Vice is not an easy game. Like, it's like a little bit of everything. You'll kind of see it the last game. It's like some spy hunter, some some Batman kind of like menuing stuff. Like, and there's like some like shooting things.
Yeah, no, it's like a trifecta of games. It's an interesting thing, and if you think of, we'll do it this way. If you think of the hardest games in your opinion on this list, and the second hardest game in your opinion on this list, to like learn and run in a marathon setting like this, what would it be?
I mean, if it wasn't for the Japanese, like, if it's like the way it is right now, I think honestly Vice would be probably the hardest of the longs. Probably, like, for me, Daydream and Davy, because, like, I don't know what the heck is going on in Daydream and Davy, so, like, but, like, out of the other ones, too, like, I feel like Journey to Silius can be pretty unforgiving, especially with the limited continues as well, like, in a marathon.
Okay, I apparently 50% agree with you.
Yeah.
I think Vice for sure is the hardest, and then my second pick would probably be Darkwing Duck.
I was gonna say Darkwing would be my third, and a lot of it is the RNG with gas drops and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think specifically in a marathon setting, like you're contending with RNG, but at the same time, it's a very cool game in a marathon setting because like you have to kind of figure it. Well, I mean, like we can talk about it when we get there. Mm-hmm. Darkwing's coming up anyway, right?
Yeah.
Or soonish anyway.
Yeah, so
but
like after Double Dragon 2, there will be a 3-minute break just for transitioning with Lingarius to Thumbros, but also with Supa with his setup, so they'll have a 3-minute break before they get into starting up Darkwing Duck.
So it'll be interesting to see how much time like Supa ends up kind of like clawing back here, because he's actually done really good so far.
Mm-hmm. And same with Brybad. I mean, he took a death in Journey to Silius, and I mean, he's making up some really good ground here as well. So
yeah, and that's where you can kind of see, you know, like Lynn pulled ahead because of definitely Daydream and Davy, and to some extent, like Silius was still pretty good, but like definitely when it comes to Double Dragon 2. Not as strong as Daydream and Davy. So this is like the cool thing about like a multi-game race like that. It's like your strength is in one game, but it doesn't transfer to every game for the most part. So
Lind actually did something really nice. So like he actually took a game over on purpose just to refill on his life. So he actually took a personal death at the beginning of the stage. So that was a really good race strat on Lind.
Yeah, and I find that really cool too because like I always find like the psychology of racers and like what they're willing to go for, like what they're willing to risk, like the safe strats versus like the hard strats, especially in like a no reset setting. Especially in this case where it's kind of like a partial relay, so like Thumb Bros depends on you.
Yeah.
Well, like what you're willing to do.
Yeah, and I think part of it probably for him is he's been in big 20s, he's been in like these marathon settings, so he definitely does have that experience. So like he kind of knows, you know, am I going to go for a PB attempt or do I just want to kind of play it a little bit safe? I know what I feel comfortable with, so but I can still be quite competitive. So.
What's interesting is there's a part coming up for Lin that there is a sub-pixel skip, I think. I'm pretty sure anyway that's coming up. And I'd be curious if they go for it. It's like this little room where you have to like ascend these platforms, but I'm pretty sure that didn't actually happen yet. It should be in the next couple of rooms, I think anyway. But you have to like have a proper sub-pixel and you can just like jump into the door.
Yeah, I think he just finished it because this is the last screen before they go to the next stage.
Ah, okay, so, sorry.
Yeah. That's okay.
So yeah, well I guess it'll come up on Brybad or Super's stream, so.
Yeah, and I know they don't have nearly as much experience with the Japanese easy, like all these runners, just because we play the US version for the whole month. So, like, some of the difference that you do in the Famicom version versus, like, you know, the NES version, like, it's probably, yeah, quite different. Yeah, and actually, Bri and Super are on the same stage. Like, Bri is just a little bit ahead, you know, but Supa's coming up quick.
So you said the enemies have like less health in the Japanese version?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can imagine that would change routing actually quite significantly if you all learn the American one. You know, like if this guy, for example, that like Lin is killing took like 5 kicks or something, it's very different all of a sudden if he takes 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think Blaze, how he did it was like 2 knees and like 3 punches, but I can't remember the exact HP in regards of it, but it's a lot smoother. Like, it's actually really funny. The stage that Lyncarius is on right now, like, you'll see like 2 sets of the, like, I don't know, it's before the Shadow clone, like the guys that do the acrobats, I don't know what they're called. But like they literally take like just 1 knee and that's it. So it's actually nice in the Japanese version. I don't know.
Oh man, yeah, no, I remember Baze, like, he literally said the worst thing. Oh, he actually said this in a very funny way too, because he actually runs also Double Dragon 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the worst thing about the Double Dragon franchise, by far, out of all the games, is the final boss in Double Dragon 3. Mm-hmm. Because it's just this horrible RNG mess, especially when you're grinding for the record.
Yeah.
And the second worst thing in Double Dragon franchise is the ninjas that are going to come up on Lin's screen. he's like they're horrible.
Yeah.
So they can waste a whole lot of time if they want. They can be actually very fatal if they want. And they can also actually like jump into the spikes themselves if they want. So
yeah, and I know a few runners actually kind of helped out quite a bit with this month. I know Zaylin was actually pushing it quite a bit and joined the SFL for this month as well. But Overly Critical Gamers actually is very knowledgeable in this game and actually gave quite a bit of help as well with some of the runners too.
Oh yeah, no, he's a great dude. He actually has a very good time himself in all of the categories and games, I think. So even the very not run PAL version, I'm pretty sure he ran at some point. So. As Lin has very politely written in chat, F them ninjas. This is probably exactly why.
Yeah.
As this ninja runs around uncontrollably.
And there's a really interesting manip that you can death or, which I don't know if Lin is trying to go for, but you can actually have these ninjas jump right into the pit at the bottom. Like they will acrobat into the pit, which is hilarious. Which a lot of people will do that in the American version as well. So.
Oh man, this ninja literally giving him.
Yeah, run for his money.
Oh, you got him? Nope.
No.
Still alive.
No. I think one more hit.
No, it cracks me up like the punches.
There we go.
There we go. We got him. Oh man, What a terrible enemy.
Right now. Yeah, and the Shadow Ninja is pretty. The Shadow Billy is kind of annoying as well too, because he'll like vanish for a period of time, and again, talking about RNG, yep, just like the airplane. Like he can just vanish anywhere and whatnot. So, and you just have to wait, and then he can actually like control you and take some hits as well. So.
Lynn wrote in chat, my knees gave out at the end. I mean, be thankful. I mean, we're all getting older, right? Like,
Yeah,
just
right.
be thankful it's your knees. There's other body parts at this point in life. Knees are not that bad. Yeah, speaking of super annoying, this guy can be super annoying. He's actually pretty good, you know, like, if you kind of get him into like the rhythm and stuff like that. But he can definitely be terrible if he kind of escapes from you.
Yeah, and this is a great jam, by the way. Like, this is a good song. I feel like it's like one of those like typical like 80s workout things.
Well, I mean, that guy is kind of dressed like that. There you go. GG Lynn.
Yeah, GG. Pull up right here.
Yeah, I can say that too. Sectional hype for sure. Always nice to have like a new couch that doesn't suck.
Yeah, so now Thumbros is going to be taken in for Lincarius to go for Darwin Duck. So now they have a 3-minute warning.
There is not. Every knee is a 4-frame window, and it will always be a 4-frame window, and there's nothing that you can do. It's just a 4-frame window every single time. It's probably one of the biggest barriers to running this game is you kind of internalize that, yeah, there's no easy way to just make the knee 100%. A and B, yeah. It's A and B together. So actually really cool that they're both on the same boss here.
Yeah.
So we're basically going to, probably by the end of the transition, like have everybody going into Darkwing Duck together. Unless tragedy strikes one of these two in the final boss.
You know what we're saying with Commandeer's curse, Dave?
Hey, so far my side has not come true.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
These guys will do fine. Yeah, everything will be fine.
It's fine. This is Japanese. This is easy mode. It's fine.
Exactly. So far we have cursed nobody.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, and direction as well. But what's up, Megan Retro Man? Awesome streamer as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually going to be pretty cool. Because the other two will have to wait a little bit, obviously, being a little bit behind. But everybody is effectively going to enter Darkwing Duck.
Alp and Bri just finished. GG's on that Bri. Man, that is close on each of those. So they can go take a potty break. They can go.
Yeah, no, that was like probably just a few seconds. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
So maybe about, I think they finished, Lynn, he finished around 50, so there's like, what, 20 seconds left or so?
Yeah, I think he's maybe, they're about a minute ahead. I would think really close, so this is exciting. This is really exciting with like 3 games and just a minute apart, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like, that's a pretty close spread considering everything that can happen in the last 3 games. So yeah, he has probably about 2.5 minutes or so. So it'll be interesting to see like how much these guys can catch up in the last few games.
Yeah, so he is almost. Yeah. So now Thumbros is in Darkwing Duck. So.
As a personal random side note, from somebody that also hosts a bunch of random events. That was a very nice transition from a video to live feed. That was very seamless.
Oh, thank you.
So excellent job behind the scenes. That's not easy
I'm not
to
in
do.
Studio. I'm not in studio mode.
I was gonna say too. I saw that too because it didn't change on my side. So like this was all very just like whoop whoop.
Yep.
It's all done. So
So Thumbro, so he's actually, I think most of us know, we start with Sewer, but there is some interesting routes. Like, I think you sent me the video, which was really cool, about, it was like a comparison of, I can't remember all the runners, but it was, some runners started with Warehouse, and then some runners started with Sewers. And I think it was the top 4 runners, so.
Yeah, back then, like when I was newer on Twitch, there was like a really weird world record kind of like push for this game, and there was 4 different people that were all really close to the record themselves. And back then, it was Sans and Endy and Zeemond and one other, Hyrexen, I think was the last one.
Yeah.
And they were all like top 4 was like 1 second away from each other, which in this game there's a lot of RNG. So everybody really pushed it well, and I think for the most part, like the route is kind of standard now, where you always kind of start in the sewers, but that's probably because, I don't know if these guys are going to go for it, but the logic behind that is, oh, okay, so there you go, you saw that. But yeah, the logic behind starting in the sewers now is if you do everything absolutely perfectly, the first like egg that you kill will drop like a large gas canister, but it's a 1-frame window. So you can effectively start off with like 1 large gas canister of gas, which is the only reason that you start in the sewers. And that manipulation was found by Zeemond a long time ago. He's like, oh yeah, it was actually kind of funny because he's like, oh yeah, we can control the ammo. It's like we don't have to worry about the ammo. And he found out this thing with the egg that it drops like, you know, like that giant gas canister, and then from there the rest of the game is unmanipulatable. Like, so. Yo, congrats, Lynn.
Yeah, GG's on that, Lynn. Yeah, and 3-4 second PB, so definitely shout out to Lynn. Check him out. Really good speedrunner.
So it looks like nobody went for like the gas can like manipulation thing. So effectively, that means like the rest of this is going to be extremely random in terms of the gas that they find. And Darkwing Duck, like he's a gassy duck. He needs all the gas.
I remember Minus Fate running this, and he was just like, "I just need the gas."
Dude, that's like the best thing about this. Like there's so many runners that run this, and they just like obviously speak to themselves. And, like, man, I need more gas. Like I wish I had more gas right out. And so just kind of like thinking.
So actually, go into like where Superman is. Shakana, actually very good Darkwing runner. He actually found a zip that you can do right at that section, which is really kind of neat.
Oh yeah, no, that actually was like years ago. Zeemond found it, but nobody made it RTA. I was actually super surprised about that at the time because it actually does save a little bit of time, and it's not like the hardest thing to do, but for whatever reason, it just never found itself into the route, and I don't think it's in the record though either. But there's no reason like not to go for it. Like it saves time, so like maybe it is harder than I think it is. Like I'm not sure. And that's like, whoa, that was close to it. Literally dancing with that thing. So shout outs to this guy. His name is Liquidator, and he is like this glorious combination of puddle and dog.
Yeah.
So I guess he's supposed to be kind of like a poodle or something, and it's like a mix on whatever. But he's also very annoying in RNG, as you were kind of saying. And where Thumbros is right now, this boss is a lot less RNG. You just kind of have to shoot him.
And you just get, there's a cheese way, which like Thumbros did really good on, like kind of like if you kind of go in between where the guy's throwing bananas, you honestly just hop up and down, kind of in that area, just so you won't take any damage. So you can play a little conservative, you can be a little bit more aggressive with it. I know some people will use arrow strats there. I did kind of like what Thumbros have done, and just use the thunder there. So
yeah, no, that's a very safe way to kill that boss.
Yeah. The nice thing is with Darkwing Ducks, is like thankfully there's unlimited continues, which is nice. So So like there is game overs, but like you have to start at the beginning of the level, but like there isn't like unlimited. There is unlimited continuous play, so.
One thing I'll also give this game too is it has an incredible amount of precision. And you'll see that more so in like the very final level, because there's a lot of enemies you kind of have to like jump right in front of and then over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you don't see it too much in the levels that kind of are leading up to it. But it's a very responsive game in terms of controls, but it's an extremely fair game, I think, also, which is not always the case in terms of hitboxes.
And if I'm not mistaken, and quote me if I'm wrong, it uses the same elements of Mega Man 5. It's like the same.
I did hear that. I don't know if that's true, but I have heard that as well, where it uses the same engine. Like it was built in the same engine. Supposedly, anyway.
Yeah.
I did hear that, though, too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mega Man 5, like in the speedrun strats, like they like arrows, like this arrow's here acting like it's kind of coincidental. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, actually, yeah, I didn't even think about that, but definitely like the pixel jumps, like
oh wow, look at
like
Mega Man and Super are like just neck and neck. The very job well done for both of them.
Yeah. Oh man, that's super close.
Yeah, that's super close. Yeah, I
is
think
it like
Thumbros
to the
is,
frame almost.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, I think Thumbros is maybe one section ahead, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's one stage ahead.
Well, this is the cool part too, is as I was saying, like, definitely where Brybad, like, he was way more comfortable with Darkwing Duck than I think he was Silius, so.
Yeah, and I know Darkwing was the game that Bry chose, like, for the SFL that month, so.
Super getting stuck under that one enemy. Yeah. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I do. The other thing that's kind of interesting with Darkwing, it's like, I don't know, like something with the D-pad mechanics is a little bit tricky because like you want to jump, but you don't want to like hold, I think it's like the up arrow because that will bring up the cape and everything. So like you want to be kind of like very precise on your D-pad because I don't know, sometimes like when you want to jump and shoot, like I remember at least for me, like I would randomly pick up my cape. I'm like, no, I want to shoot. Where's my gun? I was like, oh, it's just I have fat thumbs, so that's my problem.
There you go. Just comes back to the fat thumbs.
Yeah.
Like, that's the conclusion of the story. My thumbs are too fat.
Yeah, exactly. So Thumbros is in the forest, which the forest is I find it's probably like the hardest level in the game. Just because there's like you can get stuck by these like piranha plants or everything, and you have to do some deboosting. Yeah, and the last thing is it's like, you know, the checkpoint actually is a little bit further up. Yeah. Right.
Sorry, no, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, thankfully, like here, there's a lot of like gas drops you can actually pick up that they're hidden. So this is a good level to like, if you're low on gas, it's actually pretty forgiving some gas.
Yeah, no, and all I was just gonna say to that is, it's a weird level because like if you're going fast, it's really difficult. But I do think it's kind of like one of the easier levels if you're kind of going slower safe, because you can kind of kill the enemies before they charge you and stuff like that for the most part.
Yeah.
But you do lose a whole lot of time doing that.
Yeah, and there is a manip for the boss with Bushroot. There's like, I find it as an audio cue that we'll see if Thumbros gets it and everything. It's a really tight window that you can jump on one of the vines and like kind of manipulate just so you're not having to wait up being still there. But it's kind of tricky because he constantly has to throw these like, you know, I don't know if they're kiwis. I don't know what that is. Is this Hawaii? I don't know.
I don't know either. Like some
limes? I don't know. Yeah, like it's not tomatoes.
I see green. I see pellet. It must be a lime.
Yeah, that was actually really quick with Bushroot there, with like doing the backup way. But like there's an audio cue. You can actually climb up to the high rung right there, but it's a small frame window that because Darkwing drops down, so before he drops down, you can actually jump up. There's like a small window that you can jump up and climb onto that high rung, which that makes it a lot easier in the speedrun sense. Without it, it just takes time because you're just waiting for Bushroot to be Bushroot. So
I guess one other thing that we can mention too is like the arrow's versatility, which is a really cool thing in like this particular speedrun too, because like first of all, you're using it as an offensive weapon. But what's cool about it too is if you see any of the runners shoot an arrow and then all of a sudden it drops out of the sky, you're basically shooting the arrow, but then you're canceling the arrow. And the game is like, oh, okay, well, I guess you didn't want to use the arrow whatsoever, and it just makes the arrow drop. And that's actually a way that you can save a whole lot of time in doing some of these quick kills.
And you can take damage too, yeah, with it. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. And the downside too is like if you're like there, see,
so
like, just did that.
And this is what I'm talking about with Brybad. He actually got the minute, so like a lot quicker of a way. Actually, like Brian Super is still like really neck and neck. It's pretty amazing with this.
It is.
Ambrose
yeah.
is holding his own, which is really good. So.
Yeah. And all I was just gonna say, and then you can take it over again, is I love the idea in video games because you don't see that very often, where you literally have like an offensive property with this arrow, but you also have kind of like a resource property as well, because there's many places in the speedrun that you can shoot the arrow and you can kind of use it to climb walls or like access places faster and stuff like that. So you literally have a resource which is both offensive and a resource, which is limited by obviously your gas, which is how gassy you are.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because like if you don't have the proper amount of ammo going into like some of these stages, you're gonna have to make a split decision where it's like, do I save the arrows for the bosses, or do I climb this section a little bit faster by shooting the wall and climbing up it? For example, like on Superman's side, you're gonna see that pretty quickly here.
Yeah, and definitely in like the Foul Fortress, like the final stage, there's a lot of like very nice arrow strats that people can do and everything like that. So and like again, yeah, it's all about gas management and weapon management with it. So Thumbros coming in clean with that. Clear there, so nice job, Thumbros. It's actually
he's holding his own right now.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Supa and Briar are doing different stages, so it'll be interesting who comes up to the Foul Fortress first. So, you know, they're probably making it suspenseful for people.
Yeah, yeah. It looks confusing, but like as nothing goes wrong, like if nothing goes wrong, they should break relatively even.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, at least the only difference between picking that stage first might be based on the amount of gas that you have.
True.
But then it's also based on like maybe menuing and stuff like that. But I'm under the assumption like maybe he didn't have enough to go in whatever stage required whatever amount or whatever.
Or you just hit the wrong input and chose the wrong stage. I don't know.
He could have, yeah.
You know, I mean, thankfully, it's like the menuing's kind of like Mega Man, like just like pick the Robot Master, like pick what stage you want. You know, Thumbros is being a little bit safer, just picking up gas. Like I think, yeah, like just trying to do a little bit maybe with the arrow strat that Dave was talking about, because you can use it as climbs. So. Yeah, but overall, all these runners, it's making this really tight. Like, it's anybody's game here. So, it'll be interesting with River City Ransom and Vice. I don't know who's going to be ahead, who's going to maintain the lead, things like that, because both are pretty brutal. Like, especially, I mean, River City Ransom at the end, like, it's pretty brutal.
Oh man, we have a death there.
Yeah, I think it was a checkpoint, so probably doing it just to preserve health. And just
we had 3 health there, and he took a bunch of hits for no reason, so I'm not exactly sure why. Or maybe he took an extra hit, and then he decided, okay, it's a checkpoint, like, I'll just die here, because that was a very fast death. But,
yeah.
I don't think it was, like, an intentional death, but maybe it was, I'm not sure. But regardless, that was a good spot to die. So.
Yeah, yeah. I know I will sometimes do like personal deaths, just like, but it's always, you got to be careful on like how many lives you have too, because I've done it multiple times that it's like I will take a death and I was like, oh, that was a game over, that was smart. Whoops, I didn't count my lives, how many lives I had left. Because you don't really look. Oh, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, like, one low-key thing that was just happening on Supa's side was there's, like, these light posts that you kind of, like, jump onto. And I feel in a marathon setting, like, this game is, again, extremely responsive for, like, the controls. Like, you don't usually get screwed. If you could jump on that light post, you know, like, 100 times in a row, I feel 99 times in a row, like, you will land on that light post. But there is that very small chance that you're just gonna just, like, fly right by the light post and die. And I feel in like a no reset kind of setting, like every single jump across those light posts, you can see that they're playing it a little bit safe because like if you center yourself in the middle, you're pretty much guaranteed that you're not going to
that's
overshoot it or
from
whatever.
Thumbros. This boss that Thumbros is on right now, Molarity, he this is probably one of the worst bosses. It's just really tricky because you have to shoot. You have these fires constantly come in. There's like these, screws that he throws and whatnot. So it's really like he's one that's like casually and even in a speedrun, like he's real tricky. That was actually really good, like doing that low percent. So GG's on that thumb. And actually, Bri just got slightly ahead too. So so it's actually now like Bri Bad is now just very slightly.
Yeah, and then Supa
and
it's gonna be Thumbros.
Yeah, this is really close. Everyone's going into foul around this.
So one thing I've never seen runners do. Okay, Bri Bad.
I was just gonna say. I was like, I do that strat. That is like a strat I technically do. Some people go this low route here.
See, but is he doing? Okay, I was gonna say you can climb over both those walls, and I've never seen anybody do that.
Yep.
So it makes this section, especially in a race, I feel like infinitely safer.
Yep.
But yeah, I was like, I never see that, and then Bri Bad's like, well, actually, it's like, so prove me wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's some ways you can kind of despawn some of these enemies that Bri Bad kind of did. Oh, but naturally, Thumbros is doing kind of the same way as well.
Man,
everyone's doing the high route, Dave.
Apparently. He got scammed, Thumbros, as he was falling down in that screen transition.
Yeah. Oh, Tsupa thought he could take a death there, and that wasn't the checkpoint.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah.
I've never seen, actually, Thumbros do what he just did, too, because, like, he killed the turtle from above with the arrow. So that's an interesting way to do that. Yeah, actually, I guess
now in the lead a little bit here. So he's on this like final stage here, which there's a lot of like really neat arrow strats you can kind of do, which is kind of fun. Okay, so Thumbros just took a personal death. That's the checkpoint.
Yeah, no, where Bri Bad is, like this is kind of a scary section because this is our try hard shine. This is like one of the more technical things I think in the entire run is like the jumps in between all the enemies and stuff like that. But luckily there is a first aid kit, med kit, whatever you want to call it later on in the level.
Yeah, right there.
So,
along with some gas, which is good because we know our gas.
Exactly. So and you can see like just the way that he jumped there or right here, like that's why this game is so good. Like the hitboxes are exactly like that. Although that's going to be a little bit rough entering the final boss.
There is a health pickup, like after you get this one little section that Bri Bad.
Yeah, it's very friendly.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much impossible to mess up this boss with the arrow. So I think Bri Bad has it in the
GG's on that, Bri. So Bri Bad is going to be heading to River City Ransom, and Thumbros and Supa are really close. Right there. So, Thumbros just got into the final boss stage right here.
To me, River City Ransom is a terrifying race game.
Oh my gosh, it is such an RNG. I mean, like we're talking about RNG again, like with Double Dragon 2. This is by far the most RNG game ever, and very trolly in my opinion.
Yes.
Very super unforgiving.
Yeah, no, it's really easy to die, it's really easy to game over, and I don't know exactly what route they're doing, like I'm assuming they grab stone hands, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So then, it's just, like, there's so much that can go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all, man, they are like seconds, like, yeah. So, Bri is just slightly in the lead, yep, so he's starting River City Ransom. Thumbros, I think, is slightly ahead versus Supa.
Yeah, Supa's just like
now doing
switching his 94 different consoles. Like
he wants to play Sillies again.
I find that setup amazing.
Yeah, I find it very impressive. Like switching that quick into like different games. Like that's really impressive. Like being able to like move like a certain device with another certain device within 1 minute.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like he learned to speedrun his hardware.
Yeah, yeah. Which, I mean, I normally have a BR back screen.
Yeah. So yeah, what we're gonna see here is a lot of money farming at the very beginning, and we're just gonna beat up a bunch of dudes for a while. Because I'm assuming the first purchase in this route, like I know they have to get stone hands, but is it stone hands is the first thing that they get?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, so actually you'll see with Brybad, he's going to pick up Stone Hands. You can do Dragon Feet, but I feel like Stone Hands is, I mean, like, it's a beat 'em up game. Like, you should be using your fists, not your kick. So.
Yeah, so stone hands is like basically kind of like an upgrade in attack. It literally makes you punch a bunch of times in a row and it does a lot of damage, and you're going to use that for basically the rest of the run. So it's just actually a shorter run. But a lot can go wrong in this one, like probably more than I think any other game that's been featured so far.
Yeah,
and that's just because there's a lot of. You can go. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say. Thankfully, there's quite a bit of checkpoints, but like it's one of those things. There's a lot of kind of cheese strats that you typically do, but the minute that you mess it up, it can just go downhill really quick. So. Especially like once you get into the latter bosses, like we'll talk about it a little bit later, but there's a boss called the Twins, which is the second to last boss. That is very, very unforgiving. And you know, you can eat a lot of time just trying to fight these guys, and like, you know, they're not getting a bunch of upgrades, they just got the fists, more or less.
Probably, I'm assuming we're gonna see it too, very quickly, possibly Brybad. On the way out, this has one of the best death warps probably in the history of video games.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he'll go for it. Maybe he conserves the life, or the life rather.
Yeah, I think most of them, like the way they were routing and stuff like that, I don't know what they're gonna do in a marathon setting, but I'm pretty sure that they're gonna probably take some moves, like in this section. Just, I mean, it's fairly easy to do. Like, yep, I think.
Yeah, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. Show me a better death in a video game where you throw a barrel against the wall against yourself
and run into the wall and then die.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably the best death abuse I think in a video game.
Yep. Yep, and Supa's actually pretty close. Thumbros is, you know, struggling a little bit. Supa and Thumb are like in the same screen. I mean, this is anybody's game, so you know. I know How Do You Play It Live, this was his game that he picked for the SFL, which he has a very respectable time. But I know like there's a lot of really good River City or Ransom corners and stuff like that, like Yells Rick and like PGH picked our guy and Sarah Song. So very talented and actually really welcoming community. Like Will Bobsled, it like helped. Like I know Supa. 652 is How Do You Play This Time PB.
Yeah, what's really crazy about this one was I think it's like super popular game on, well, not super popular, but it's like popular enough on Twitch in terms of the people that run it and the community and stuff like that. But this was another game that just completely escaped me as a kid.
Yeah.
But at least I knew this one existed as a kid. Like I think I rented it just once or twice, but I didn't play it a whole lot, and I never really saw, you know, like none of my friends had it or anything like that. But then Twitch was like, this is one of our favorite games.
Exactly. It's just like in your face kind of thing. Well, that's kind of the thing with like, for me, Ninja Gaiden. I never had any of the Ninja Gaiden games growing up as a kid, but like when I started on Twitch, I mean, that's where like Arcus and the Retro Runner were doing like a bunch of Ninja Gaiden, you know, bopping each other back and forth and everything. And just it got so popular. I'm like, okay, this is Ninja Gaiden, thank you. So yeah, but it's really cool on like finding these hidden gem games and stuff like that. So
actually, tell us, chat, like what was that game for you on Twitch that like you had no experience with growing up, and then suddenly you saw it on Twitch? You know, like there was a community or a speedrun or whatever.
Yeah.
There's like a couple of those for me, but like Rygar was one where I was just like, what's a Rygar?
Yeah.
Suddenly it's like, okay. The Guardian Legend.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, for me, honestly, I think it was Journey to Silius. Like, I never knew about Journey to Silius, and actually didn't know Batman. So, and I was,
Oh no, my heart.
yeah, no, like, but I had like as a kid, like I grew up a lot with the Capcom games, so like I knew Darby, I knew Chippendale, I knew the Mega Man, I knew all that stuff. But like Batman, I was like Sunsoft, what's Sunsoft? And I was like, oh my gosh, all like these soundtracks are just like so epic and so like beautifully done. And same with gameplay, it's just very responsive and just very well crafted. So.
Our runners so far are doing good. Like, oddly, again, in a really inconsistent game sometimes, like nothing has gone wrong.
Yeah, Thumbros actually is a little bit ahead by like one screen. Like that's how close this is. You know.
Oh, Super was getting roughed up a little bit. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There's a graph, I think, like in SRC and Speedrun.com for River City Ransom that talks about each screen. You'll see on each of these screens they'll say like the mob or you know a certain group, the mob's turf, like the squid's turf, things like that. And there's actually a percentage on each of these screens, and like how often the percentage that they come into it. And some of them are very difficult, and some of them are not as difficult. So as you progress into this game, you get a lot of the harder, bosses and stuff. So
yeah, no, I think it's actually a game that almost progresses, in like almost like a linear fashion, where it just gets like harder and harder and harder.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those speedruns. Like not all speedruns are like that. Like sometimes like level 2 is the hardest out of 6 or something. But like this is almost like steps going up.
Yeah.
I do have a story actually about River City Ransom.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, a long time ago, I knew a kid that rented it, and to this day, he's still entering the password to play it again.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
this
actually has
doing
like...
this sauna. Look at that.
There you go.
No.
Well, Nate's channel's getting banned for TOS.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the double sauna.
Double sauna. Let's go.
Well, Nate's channel's getting double banned for TOS.
Yeah.
There you go. He needed a break,
Yeah. He needed to feel relaxed because
exactly.
the squids are like being total trolls right now. So
yeah, look at these guys. Like I would want to rest in the sauna after getting beaten up by like garbage cans and stuff.
Yeah, Supa is now just taking the lead. Like again, this is like just a few seconds. So he's about to enter the high school.
Really scary being at low health like this.
Yeah.
There's like very little leeway for error. That is an amazing emote will bobsled.
Yeah.
Oh, it's y'all. So close. Of course it would be y'all's drink.
Yeah, so Thumbros is just slightly ahead. I don't know if Brybad took a death. They're running so fast. They're just so good, all these guys. So it's very impressive on what it is. But like Thumbros and Supa are both on the same screen. I think Supa's now just leaving Otis and going to be heading towards the twins, which is like a terrifying. Like this section is just like this is where runs rip. I find.
Yeah, and you can see up in the corner like Supa's health. Like the ticks are a little bit high.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because it's like a different capture. But
I don't think he ate the lamb leg. Okay, no, now he's eating the lamb leg. I was like, he has a lamb leg. Or no, he did not eat the inputs, please.
Well, I was gonna say Brybad being absolutely insane, carrying 1 health forever here.
Yeah, 1 HP in the dream.
Yeah. Like, he's not being crazy at all.
Oh, and like Thumb does not have any health. Like he's
yeah,
like,
both of them.
He's on life support right now. It's
Look at Otis and Brybad's screen just blocking like 10,000.
Yeah, and this is where I was talking about this is where there's this like kind of cheese manip that you can kind of do, but it gets it's a little bit different on each of them. And Supa's now on the twins here. Oh no. And if you mess up the twins, it's not good. It's not good.
No, they're very obnoxious.
Yeah.
Thumbro is trying to jump on the basketball net and having a bit of trouble there.
Yeah.
I don't know the hitbox on this thing.
I think like for me, I always had to A and B at the same time, and like just be right above the net there. But yeah, this is anybody's game, so it depends on like how well the twins work. Supa using that lamb leg really saved him, so he's actually out of the so that was actually really smart on Supa, just going to the shop and getting just a little bit of health and just regen right there.
Yep. I wonder if we're gonna see the dancing at the end, or if they're just gonna reset immediately.
Let's see.
You can't moonwalk and then not dance. Right
yeah,
here.
right,
Like,
exactly.
actually, if anything,
I was gonna say Supa will have to start the whole thing over again. That does. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
there
let's
it
go.
is. Nice.
There we go.
Run is
I was
valid.
literally
GG's there, Supa.
Yeah, no, I was like, he set the precedent for dancing. Like, he was the first one in Silius to do the moonwalk. Like, now we do the Russian Cossack or whatever.
Oh, nice job, like Supa, and Thumbro's finishing up as well. You know, he just went through the twins, so you thankfully don't have to redo the twins. And Bri finished with the twins too, so like they're now on the final boss. Supa.
Who would have?
Oh, go ahead.
Who would have guessed it comes down to Vice?
I know,
Like,
right? Like this is like, yeah.
All things considered, like I'm surprised this went as well as it did.
Yeah, this is very
as well
impressive.
as it did, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Thumbro's
it's
GG's thumb with that as well, and then GG's Brybad. Like this is neck and neck.
Thumbro's choosing not to dance. Brybad also choosing not to dance.
To be fair, I actually don't know how to dance with the inputs there.
I don't know either. I just seen y'all look good in the past.
Alright, so now we're in Vice Project Doom, which is... I actually really like this game. Thumbros actually chose this. Unfortunately, he couldn't participate, like, because IRL stuff happens. But it's a very unique game because it has a lot of different types of styles. So you see kind of this, there's like this climbing part, and there's going to be this platforming, and some shooting. There's just a lot of stuff.
I remember one of the times like Supa was running this, I asked him, like, are you destroying criminals in the cars? And he's like, I don't know. like they could have just been a bunch of innocent people, man. Like, what are you doing? Do they really need to get shot down? But yeah, this is a really weird game because it's like basically 3 different kinds of games in one. So you say, you know, like you saw the kind of like spy hunter thing at the beginning, and then there's a lot that's going on with like the platforming sections because the platforming sections have extremely good controls.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, too, as you kind of mentioned earlier, there's like a sub-weapon element that you can kind of swap and do stuff. There is zips that you can do with the select button. I don't know if we're going to see them. I'm assuming we will. And on top of that, too, I don't know why it actually activates with the select button. It's just you do it with the select button. And that was actually popularized by Styly back then and a bunch of other people that were running it. And we're going to see it. We're going to bad RNG. So we want this guy to throw above our head. So we had about 50% good RNG there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the other thing that we're going to see a little bit later on for the third kind of like game style is almost like a gallery shooter. Which I feel, you know, like when the NES came out, like having more than one kind of thing, like the developers are flexing, like that's all they were doing.
Yeah.
They're like 3 different kinds of game engines in the same game. I'm like, okay. Like, let's see you do that, Mega Man.
Well, especially like this is like Sammy. This is like a not well-known like publisher, I would say. Or...
I think they did like 2 or 3 things and then they went bankrupt. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
like
and one of the other games was Kabuki Quantum Fighter, which is
Correct.
a fantastic game. Like so,
yeah.
But it's just like it's just kind of interesting. Like this is not a well-known like company that is producing this actually very well-rounded game.
Yeah. So this is Supa's lead and race to lose.
Yep.
He has obviously a bit of an advantage here, or at least rather a bit of an whatever you want to call it. He's ahead. I don't know what my brain is trying to say. I think everybody has the same kind of advantage, but what's really cool about this and like how it's routed is you'll see him do it periodically, and this is actually something extremely rare, I think, in like NES games. Well, you can't really see it now, but maybe on the other runner screens.
Yeah, and this is what you're
duck.
Mm-hmm. Which is amazing. Like, it's very rare there's a duck in an NES game.
Yeah, and like you duck through like enemy patterns, enemy attacks, and stuff like that. But the cool thing is, I think anyway, because there is like games you can duck, but you halt your forward momentum. Where this one you can run forward while ducking like a weirdo, but it actually works really well. And there's a bunch of different strats where you can like move forward or like towards an enemy. You can dodge certain attacks and stuff like that. And I actually said that streaming a couple of days ago, where one like completely random thing that I wish like every game had is if you were a developer and you put a ladder in your game, allow me to jump up the ladder. Like this is like one of those small quality of life things that makes it so much better, especially if you return to a game, even casually. But I think like the ducking thing here is like massively cool. Like it's just like something that should be in like every game, but at the same time, like nobody ever thought of it until these guys.
Yeah, and what you'll see, just what Supa just did, is there's a lot of zips as well too, which is kind of interesting because you have to hit the start and select. I think it's the select and start at the same time. It's kind of a weird way to do the zip with it. So.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I just know that. That was a bad death by Supa.
Yeah.
Missed the log completely there. But yeah, it has something to do with the select button. I'm not exactly sure. I just know that you have to like push select as you like go into a wall or something like that.
Yeah, because it's like a little bit of like, and I don't know the mechanism behind it, but and he's doing a little bit of twerking with his.
Yeah, you can tell. He's like, man, I missed this log cycle. It's time to twerk.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, there's like every log cycle. Max twerking. Let me feel your pain. Supa.
Yeah.
The good thing is you're out of the log screen now.
Yep.
You're free, my friend.
Yep. But I will have to know, like, this is an hour and a half, and they're on the 6th game. Like, I did not expect them to run this quick. Like, this is very impressive. Like,
the other cool thing, though, too, is, like, it is kind of like an unspoken thing. Switching from game to game and, like, different mechanics is legit hard.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's something else to show, you know, like, these guys are actually doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's like actually like mind sorcery sometimes, like going from especially like a really slow moving game to like a faster game.
Yeah, and if you are interested in like, you know, joining the community and everything like that, I posted the link of the Discord. Like, help yourselves. Like, it's open to everybody. You know, you don't have to be like a world record holder. You don't have to be a god gamer, you know, or anything like that. You know, even if you just want to play it casually or you're just interested in speedrunning, I think it's a great. I think it's a great kind of option to really expand your horizons on different types of.
Sorry, no, I agree with what you're saying, but
we
also have to mention that the game that they chose this month is Battletoads.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, that is true. This month is Battletoads. Like,
so you don't have to be a god gamer, but at the same time, Battletoads.
Yeah, like... right, exactly. And you can pop in whatever. Like, if you're like, I don't want to do Battletoads, but like maybe the next month, like you can do that too. Like, there's no stress, no like commitment and stuff like that. Like, yeah. But if you want something like, and you don't have to stream, but like, you know, it's something to like meet some people that, you know, we love retro. We love like, you know, playing video games, and we want to like try to challenge ourselves. I think it's a really good community.
It's a fantastic community. Lots of familiar faces in there, and I definitely recommend them to you. Like, really good community, really good people.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see that this was like something that happened, because they've been talking about races for a while, so hopefully this is the first of many to come.
Yeah. And I know like a bunch of like holidays and IRL stuff happens, which, you know, totally is understandable and everything, but it's really nice to like have a showcase of all these games just to, you know, show your talent, have a little race, a little friendly competition and stuff like that. So
yep, and as Lynn said, there's also sometimes side games too, which are usually very short, you know, like in terms of goals, and one I can think of off the top of my head. was like score 10 goals in ice hockey.
Yep.
So there's like little things like that where you can also participate if maybe you want to do something, but at the same time, Battletoads might be a nightmare.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna do like, I want to do, Super Soccer 10 goals and everything like that, and it doesn't have to be NES. It's been really convenient that we've then done a lot of NES games, but we did Demon's Crest for the SNES. They've done like WWF, I think, WrestleMania 2000 for the N64. Like, there's a lot of different games and like a lot of different runners that are doing different stuff. Which, like I said, if you want something to kind of like kill some time, or like just something that you don't want to be a main grind, this might be the community for you. So yeah, they are all very, very close with us. So yo, what up, Raspy Doo?
Yeah, actually, again, way closer than. But like the fact that they're probably all gonna finish within a minute of each other is pretty good in an hour plus race.
Yeah, I think Supa is one stage ahead. It's always weird with 6 and 8. They look really similar, and they have the same song. That makes it even more confusing. But yeah, like, no, I was gonna say what Thumb Bros is on right now. This screen stinks. It's like kind of gives you Ninja Gaiden 2 vibes, but like there's like a bunch of lag in it, so it's very.
Ninja Gaiden 2 if it lagged the video game.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it took a pretty unfortunate death. Yep.
Right in the one hole, of course, that was on the screen at the time.
Yep.
So the cool thing, even though it's not exactly cool that's happening in the Thumb Bros, is you can kind of see with the birds that are like attacking him from behind. One cool property that's also in this game exclusively is if you attack with your kind of like whip thing going forward, it actually does have a backwards hitbox. So there's quite a few strats in the game where if you're like whipping forward, you can hit something that's chasing you behind. And I think that's actually really cool too, especially in conjunction with like the duck, because it also works that way as well.
Yeah, and you'll see like a lot of like damage boosts and stuff like that. Like the iframes are actually a lot smaller than you would expect in this game too. But there will be like sometimes some damage boosts. You'll see it probably in the final level, before the final 2 bosses. Like there's some cheese strats that you can do. That is very nice as Supa. That is a really hard zip to do. So GZ's on that Supa.
Yeah, especially the last level. There's like basically like a damage boost across like this bridge section, which makes that section a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, so Brian and Thumb Bros are like really like seconds apart. Like Supa really kind of taken like kind of the lead here, so he's going to be approaching like probably the next auto scroller coming up soon.
So I would just like to point something out. A long time ago, I hosted a Chippendale tournament, and then I won it. And then I also hosted the Batman tournament, and then I won it. And Supa looks like he's hosting this thing. He put it together or whatever, yeah. And he might win it.
Yeah.
But sometimes these things just happen. It doesn't mean you're a cheating crook or anything like that. Or does it?
Or does it? Who knows? I don't know. But I do have to say, probably Vice is probably the longest game, probably out of the ones. Maybe Daydreamy Davy. But I think like probably Supa probably spent the most amount of time on Vice. Did. Yeah. So, and he has like 4th place, so he's very, very talented. So I definitely like. You can definitely show like the amount of skill level with it, and I know that's the hard part. Brybad didn't spend much time on Vice as well too. Like this was November that we learned this, so this was like during Thanksgiving, like holidays happen, things like that.
Yeah, and on top of that too, funny enough, Supa would have an advantage there because we don't have Canadian Thanksgiving in November.
Of course, Canada.
So he was cheating after all.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, and of all the games, like we said a couple of games ago, like Vice is, I think, definitely the most technical on this list. So.
Well, and like the amount of menuing that you have to do, like definitely, like it gives me Batman vibes, just probably with like the number, like probably with switching between like, you know, the bomb, between the gun, and then between like the whip. So probably similar with Batman in regards of like switching between the batarang and a bunch of other stuff too. With
yeah, no, it's pretty similar. I think the thing that I really like about, well, I mean, like I guess about both games, but especially this one, is the way that you use the grenade and you throw it ahead of time. But the cool thing about that is like it's not in kind of like a fixed trajectory. So like you really need to like manually aim every grenade by your jump height to make sure that you're like high enough in the air to make it like lob over or whatever the case is. And like that, for example, like on Brybad's screen, he is like kind of tossing them right now. But he has to be tossing them, you know, like at the peak of his jump. Otherwise, you're not going to hit the enemies on the stairs.
Yeah.
So
and
there's
where
a lot
Supa
of
is right now, this is like probably the scariest like area.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's the last screen before the final two bosses, so Supa's kind of wrapping up, and he's kind of a little low on health. He actually didn't take the health refill, which is interesting. But he's probably not scared. He's like, I got this. Throws a bomb like a Chad.
I know. He's like, I had a whole extra month to learn this because I'm Canadian.
Yeah.
Like, he learned it in that month. But yeah, this is kind of a weird fight because it's pretty scripted in the sense like this boss will always kind of do this. But he also is really easy to die on if you mess up like that.
Oh my goodness. GG's on that Supa.
Yeah, that was close.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Supa is your, well, Superman. Like,
yeah.
number one.
And with like an hour and 40 minutes, like that's very respectable. So GG's on that Supa.
GG.
Yeah, so definitely like check out Superman. Like he does like a bunch of these like speed runs and stuff, but also does like if you like Black Ops, like modern games and stuff like that, he'll also play that as well. So. Yeah, and if Supa wants to come in and join us on commentary, he's more than welcome to too. And that goes with all the runners finishing up too. So.
Thank you, Daydream and Dave. You almost killed me. Honestly, if you think about it though, like at the very beginning, like of course, yeah, like that's true, but after that, for the most part, like you were solid almost the entire way through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I mean, like, this is a very close game. I mean, even, like, Thumbros is a little behind now. I think he had a repeat stage 9, just taking a game over, but, I mean, this is, like, with 6 games, like, this isn't a landslide fight for anybody. Yeah, Brybad is on, like, towards the end of this last, kind of driving section here.
I always like how the driving section had like this giant centipede thing that you're fighting, like.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of an interesting strat. So you can actually use, so there's a boost that you can see where it says 1, 2, and 3. You actually can mention. So you can actually like shoot him forward, but then you can actually use the boost fire to like shoot him from behind. It's actually kind of a really good strat. Yo, Supa GG's on that.
Thank you. That was a tough one. Glad it was close though.
Yeah, no, GG, so it's good.
We were like neck and neck until Vice Project Doom really started, and then it was a pretty good run. It was a 14:36 on Vice Project Doom.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's really good. And your PB for that, like, was it 13:30 something?
37.
Yeah.
So like it was less than a minute.
Yeah.
You really had a 13.
I think the biggest issue was the logs, right?
Yeah, actually.
What happened there?
Yeah.
Missed
well, we
every
saw
log
you
cycle.
jump down, and it's like, well, did he do that just on purpose? Like, just to re-manip it? I don't know. But then it was like long screen jump again. I guess
I totally
he's just taking the
mistimed
scene.
I totally mistimed it. For sure.
Amazing. Yeah, there's like one log, one jump, or just like it's like
Because if you want to jump on it as early as possible, but I guess I jumped like 1 or 2 frames too early.
Yep, and Brybad's now kind of towards the last section here. So he's on this last screen. It's so scary. Like, there's so many pits, and like sometimes you can take personal hits here. I like doing the personal hits because it's like I want lag to be my friend this time.
yeah, like taking the hits makes that whole section substantially easier, but definitely, yeah. Like, if you're not taking the hits, this is a terrifying section. Even if you're taking the hits, it's still a terrifying section. It's really easy to die.
Yep. Nice job, Bry. Now he's on the final boss here.
The funny thing is, this game doesn't use iframes too often. Except like mostly on this final stage, and then the car fights. The car fights are important.
Yeah, actually that's true. Like, there's not a whole lot of damage boosting in the sense like you're running through something with your iframes.
Because the iframes don't last long.
GG Brybad.
GG Brybad. Great job. I lost about 7 minutes on Daydream and Davy because
So what happened there? I guess that would...
So I thought I was getting glitched, but I forgot the correct pistol to actually get through that fight. So I just kept buying the shotgun bullets, but I didn't buy the correct pistol. And so every time I got there, he was just laughing and shooting me, and I'm like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening.
Actually, I guess like one of the things that you can explain too, that was the only game that we suffered on. Like, we combined with 2 brains, had like 9 things to say about Daydreaming Dave.
Yeah.
We don't know that
he's
game
gonna throw a
very well.
battle kid. Oh, there you go, Dave.
Yeah, there you go.
And I thought I was getting soft locked, so I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong, and apparently I was. So I just sat there for 1 second, I'm like, oh, I didn't get the pistol.
So, what did Lin mean where you had to get the sword? Because he said you had to go back and get the sword or something.
Oh,
as well.
at the beginning I missed the glitch kill on the beginning boss, and I didn't want to reset the game. I was like, forget it, I'll just continue, right? So I just went back for the sword, which wasted I think about 2.5 minutes, which gave Lin a huge lead. But then the biggest issue I think was the actual fight at the Wild West, the first fight at the Wild West. Other than that, I think we were fairly close. I'm pretty sure he would have beat me for Daydream and Davy, but I would have made a pretty decent comeback for Double Dragon 2.
Alright, Thumbros is on the final boss. He's kind of low on health, so hopefully, like, we'll see on how it goes. Kind of
take it a little bit safe, and you can still take 1 hit, because I think it does 4 damage.
I think we're good, of course, right? Commenters.
GG's on that thumb. Very nice.
Yep, GG's.
Yeah.
Let's go. Good job, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, this is a very, like, with 6 different unique games, like Dave and I were just saying, it's like, this is, you know, it's impressive on how tight this race was. So I'll have to wait 10 seconds before I give another shout out. Oh my god.
Yeah, thanks, Twitch.
Thanks, Twitch.
Well,
Yeah, no, this means
well,
3 people, or I guess technically 4, like Lin and Thumbros, but like 6 minutes variance between all of the 6 games is pretty tight. Like, that's pretty good.
And doing it under 2 hours, I mean, that's mad impressive. So hats off to like everybody, like Lin, Supa, Bry, and Bry is in here too. GG's, Bry.
I am. GG's. Thank you. Gosh, that was a race, huh? So I have to ask, because I did have the stream up but I didn't have audio. Supa, what happened to Daydream and Davy?
we don't talk about that.
No, so we just talked about that, and the best thing to do is talk about it again. Like,
Yeah.
let's relive all of the pain.
I just I forgot the pistol, but I thought I was getting glitched out, so I repeated that fight too many times. Yeah.
Yeah, I kept looking over and I kept seeing you restart that level, and I'm like, why? What's happening over there? Oh gosh.
I did look over at the River City Ransom, and you were getting knocked out by the City Ransom, and by just like the regular enemies.
Yeah, I got a couple of
By
weird
just, like,
RNGs where you spawn into the little level, and
enemies.
then the guy decides to show you his
Yep.
brass knuckles, and then you die, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So, but I don't know if you guys really paid attention, but during the twins fight, I thought I was cooked, but somehow I ended up not dying because of the lamb leg, and
Yep.
I somehow pulled it out. So I was really surprised by that.
Yep, that also happened to me. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
actually, you and Thumb
That also
basically had
happened.
like 2 and almost 1 health, like the entire, a large section of that actually. Like it was for a while.
Gosh,
I know they
yeah.
went for the sauna.
Yeah,
And
Thumb.
I just passed right through that, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, Thumb Bros got naked on stream twice.
Nice. I didn't have to show the 8-bit butt on Notorious to stream. I just had to do it. So.
Okay, it's all good.
But yeah, I don't know. How do you feel, Supa, overall? How'd you do, man? Besides Davey.
Yeah, besides Davey, I'm really happy about all of that.
Yeah, and we have
That
Thumb
would've
Bros
been-
now in here too, so GG's
Yeah.
also Thumb.
GG's Thumb.
Oh, hey, GG's, guys, thank you. How's my audio?
I think it's good. Yeah, it's good on my end, I think.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, I can't find my headphones, so I'm talking to my phone old school style.
Oh, perfect. No, but very well job. Like both like Lynn and you, like just like, I mean, this was a super tight race. Like all of you guys. So like, hats off again. Like I can't speak highly enough of these runners. Like follow them, check them out. Like very impressed with it. So.
And I gotta give a special shout out to Thumb because he really didn't have most of the games like fully grasped, and he like pumped out practice throughout the past like week or two, just trying to like get his times as low as possible, and he was doing a really great job in my opinion.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Supa. I learned Vice kind of late into the game. I know, like I started like really running it last week, and you know, your tips helped a lot. Supa's, and Nate's tips helped a lot. You know, all you guys are super helpful. You know, Bri and Lynn. You know, that's what I love about you guys. You guys love giving tips and strats, and like it just helps so much. You know, because it's like hanging out, but like helping each other.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think that's really good. It
great
speaks
race. That was
volume
fun.
with the SFL. Like, I mean, everybody wants to help each other. I mean, like, yeah, there's a little bit of friendly competition, but you know, if you found like a really good strat, like you post a video or I post a video, or like, you know, that's kind of the nice thing about this community. It's like everybody like kind of helps each other out. You know?
Yeah, I think everybody pushes hard for the games, but no one's like a gatekeeper as far as strats goes or
Mhm.
anything. But everybody does want to do as best as they possibly can, I would think.
Especially even with this race practice too, I feel like, you know, I think all of us were, but I was especially like when I was doing, I think I did the most practice on stream for this race. But whenever I was doing stuff, I'd be like, hey, this is what I'm doing for the race, guys. This is what do you think? You know. So, yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate the SFL. It's a wonderful little thing, you know.
I never thought I would race River City Ransom in a semi-marathon. Like, if you told me, Thumb, you're gonna race a beat 'em up River City Ransom with like the most saltiest RNG on the planet, I would say, come on.
I will have to say, you guys all did fantastic on the twins. Like, I was like just blown away because I was just like, I mean, it was like watching all 3 feeds. You guys were like one screen apart the entire time. Like, it was like Supa, then it was Thumb, then it was Bri, then it was Thumb, then it was Supa, then it was just. I thought that was very impressive.
Honestly, yeah, because like if you think about it, like the only way that it was like starting to pull away was actually Vice.
Mm-hmm.
Like until then, it was still kind of back and forth, and like there was still lead changes and stuff like that, even if they were like for a screen or whatever it was. But like Vice is when it was like finally like Supa started to pull away there.
Oh yeah, so I knew if I didn't have a lead going into Vice, I was like, Supa's gonna just annihilate me in Vice Logic, dude. And I tried, but then I saw we were starting about the same time, and I was like, well, I'm gonna do my best, but I'm pretty sure Supa's got this. So,
I literally got 14 36 for Vice do. So
Man, I would love to get a 1436.
Yeah.
I know on average that's like a pretty good run for most people.
What was your time, Thumb? Did you get a PB in it? Because I thought you did really
know.
well.
Well, the thing in my PB, I did it deathless. So
Oh,
in here, I did die like 2 times, and like that train. Oh, I hate that last part.
Yeah, that
yeah.
Ninja Gaiden
It's
2
like the
train
worst.
is terrible. Yeah.
We literally saw you fall down like the middle of the
I
train.
thought I played really well in Vice. If
Mhm.
you could take away those 2 deaths that I had, like I thought I was on a cloud in Vice. Like such a fun game. It's like Ninja Gaiden and like it's such a great platformer. Retro Room, a friend of mine told me about the game, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I could have probably done Double Dragon. But I was like, yeah, let me try Vice, because like, you know, the part of doing a race is try new games also, and you know, I was like, yeah, whatever. I know I'm the underdog, but I'm just gonna have fun, and I learned a lot about the game. It was a blast. Like that game is so good.
Yeah.
Just one last thing, I'm wondering, did you want to reveal the 2 truths and a lie, or?
I mean, it is up to you guys if you want to open yourselves up to that. If not, I will just leave it up in the ether. So for these runners, so it is totally up to you guys.
I'm okay leaving it in the ether. Let it be a mystery.
Let it be a mystery.
Well, I won't leave mine in the ether. How about that? I'll be true. Did any chat? Do you guys have any guesses? Mine was I'm an elementary school teacher certified. I have DJ'd celebrities' weddings, and I have what was the third one? I have been in music videos. I was in music videos and extra for an award. That's what it was.
Well, I called you out on that one because I actually do have a background in education, and I literally said, which you didn't hear, I'm assuming because of the audio, that there's absolutely no way that you could have afforded that suit on a teacher salary. So I think that's the lie. I don't know if it's the lie. I think it's the lie, though.
Well, so that suit, that was actually part of my job where I am a DJ, so that is a real thing. I am a DJ, and I did actually, I do a fashion show pretty much every year. So I can't afford that suit. I don't have that suit. That's part of the fashion show. But I am a certified elementary school teacher.
He wasn't an extra.
I was not an extra in a music video, no. And I'm not
I was
actively
certain
teaching right
that
now.
you had the dance moves to do it, dude.
So I haven't taught really. I'm not an active teacher anymore, but you know, I was certified, and I guess technically speaking, I'm not currently certified anymore. So I guess that's kind of a not truth, but you know, it's all fun.
2 lies and a truth.
2 lies and a truth.
66% lie.
Yeah.
How about you, Thumb? What was yours?
Yeah. So my truth and a lie. Well, I did not do any voice acting for Elf.
I guess that
come on.
And
I
the
thought it was
truth
for
is,
sure, dude.
I do have a certification in puns. I went to pun school for 2 years. I traveled all around the world to get all the puns, and I lost in the amateur championship. It was a really close one in the Old Valley tournament. It was really a fun tournament. It was like on pay-per-view. It was a big event. And then my other truth is I did sell.
Oh my God,
yeah,
gosh.
Final Fantasy.
That's so sad.
That is very sad.
I mean, did you have a good time with Madden?
I can't stand the Madden games.
Oh, no.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, when I was a little kid, I literally traded my copy of Bucky O'Hare for Base Wars. So that was pretty bad too.
And I
don't
will
even know
mention,
what
speaking
Base Wars is.
of Final Fantasy 3 for the SNES, so I had Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3 for the SNES. Not complete in box, but just the card itself. I sold it to like my brother's friend for like $40 because I wanted to buy Animal Crossing, which was really pathetic. I regret that to this day. So something about Final Fantasy 3. I mean, granted, I beat it both, but I was just like, oh, why did I do that?
That's one of my favorite, I think, of all time is Final Fantasy 3/6. So yeah, I'd be sad.
Yeah.
I'd be sad.
Well, I
guess
will
I'm gonna
have.
to reveal mine.
Yeah.
So it was, I'm 6'4". I've gotten into a school versus school fight, and I've won a YMCA basketball championship.
I guessed all three were true.
I'm
I'm
leaning
actually not
towards.
saying 4.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
But I
leaning
have,
towards the basketball one.
Yeah, I'm what am I? I'm a shorty, 5'9" or so.
So you did some NCAA basketball then, huh?
YMCA. It's not NCAA. But yeah, I mean, I loved basketball growing up, and I did do some like high school ball, but didn't get into. I mean, in Canada, I think college ball is like completely pointless, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't apparently have anything to say about that. I don't know why I said that.
No, I was kind of asking you since you're Canadian as well.
Well,
Like, how much do you hear about college
Nothing.
basketball or football?
Literally,
like,
I started saying that like for that reason. I was like, oh yeah, and then I was like, dude, there's nobody that talks about it ever. Like,
not.
so yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I'll say is thank you very much, Dave, for joining me on commentary and joining me on hosting this event as well, too, sir. So
Thank you.
thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for joking around with me and taking the time out of your day for this event.
Yeah, no worries. Always a pleasure, and definitely go follow these guys. They're legitimately fun. I literally, as I said, follow everybody. So
yeah,
you should too.
And follow Dave too. So like, definitely check Dave out. Like, he does a lot of speedruns. Like, Battle of the Kid, he loves that game too. So.
Well, and to echo that, I mean, thank you to Dave, but also to Nate. I mean, Nate put a lot of time into a lot of this stuff too for the race. So shout out to Nate as well for putting all the time and effort into hosting this for us. It's awesome.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Like, yeah, so, and it's good doing it with a good group of people that, you guys are all very talented speedrunners, and like, this is just a good community. I can't speak highly enough about this community. Like, like, everybody's willing to help each other out. Everybody is just so welcoming, so warm. Like, I started the SFL at the beginning of last year when we learned Super C, and it was just like one of those things. I popped into actually Brybad's chat, and I was just like, "Oh, you're running Contra? That's cool. I kind of want to run Super C." And he's like, "Funny enough, we're running Super C next month. You should join us." And he's like, "Just follow everybody." Like, and he said in his chat, "Everybody follow me. Like, let's check him out. Let's like cheer. Like, let's see what he's about," which I think is really cool. So,
always trying to spread the love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got Battletoads this month. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Dave. I'm really excited to hear the broadcast. Hear and watch the broadcast. Like, that's how I'm always excited. Like, whenever I do a race, I always like to watch the playback. And, it's always a fun time. And thanks Bry, thanks Supa, and thanks Lynn for agreeing to team up. Because I know we kind of had me and Lynn kind of had time constraints. And, huge shout out to Bry and Supa for being cool. Like, hey, yes, that's fine, doing the team up, because like this is all about having fun. And I had a great time, so this was great. Like, just tons of fun. And thank you all the viewers who stopped by as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you and Lynn joined up and decided to take part of this.
Yeah, the more the merrier. Next time we do this, I hope there's more.
Yeah, and again, the link is right there in the chat there. Like, if you're interested in doing the SFL, or even just like, just kind of lurking in the shadows and everything like that, it's free to anybody. So definitely, consider it. So
I'll give you guys a small plan as well. We are hoping to have like a end of month race for like each game every single month. But at the end of it all, we are planning to do another one of these, hopefully, and I think we might have a mid-year event as well. And then the way this group works is you join, you play a game, then you can recommend a game next time, and a lot of people are gonna join in and play the game that you chose, and it's just a fun, friendly group, as I like to say.
Yeah, and no obligations as well too. Like, if you want to do 1 month but you can't do the other month, totally fine with it too. So But I'm gonna quit yakking.
To go.
I'm gonna send you guys over to somebody. I'm gonna send you over to Duber. He's actually part of the SFL as well too. He's doing I Want to Be the Guy, so I think that would be good to kind of hang out with into his community, check him out, and stuff like that. So I don't know if there's anything else that you want to say, Dave, or Supa, or Thumb, or Rye.
Just wanted to say thank you, Nate, thank you, Junk. Play, Bry, Lynn. I'm sure I'm gonna miss like a million people, but thank you to everybody. I really appreciate every single one of you.
No,
Agreed. I don't have much
dude.
to add.
Agreed. I don't have much to add. So
You know, Supa said everything. I thank everyone for everything. You know,
Thank
all
you,
the
Tiny
members.
Tim.
I was a little questionable. Supa thanked his Junk there, but you know, I mean.
I don't think he's ever called me junk before.
Me neither.
Thank you for making it awkward for everybody. But no,
I guess something wrong. So
in a world like of like speedrunning and Twitch and stuff, where there's not a whole lot of races anymore, like this is really cool, and I hope that you guys do more. And I was happy to be part of it. But like races where, like, imagine that like when I was new on Twitch in like 2016, like almost a weekly thing. Like there was always somebody racing something, and like now it could be like months before people race anything.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy that this came together and you guys did it, and it's very fun. And I hope it happens again.
I guess on that note, should we shout out the stupid 10 or what?
If you want, yeah, we have something coming up on January 22nd. We'll do the reveal there, but it's basically like a 10 game race, but it's kind of like a more try-hardy one, where I think it was kind of formulated where execution is kind of prioritized, and we'll see how many people join that one. But
I'm interested, but that first game where you have to hit A 30,000 times or whatever, man, already I'm like, damn, oh, jeez.
And people in the Discord started guessing, and I just kept saying yes to everything. Someone was like, Takashi's challenge. No, the reveal is on January 22nd. The actual race is a month later on February 22nd, which should be a Saturday.
Okay, so that one's not a real one then.
Yeah, it's just the reveal. It's just like the game list.
Gotcha.
yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, and hopefully if I have time, we'll see. Battletoads is gonna be crazy this month, and
That is a scary game to learn even in 30 days.
Yeah.
So,
If you guys can get a completed run, like, that's GG's. I have to bow out on it. I'm working on Mega Man 2 grinding 70%.
I wish you nothing but the best with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on Mega Man 2 as well. I'm gonna be doing a zipless tournament for fun next week. So I'm looking, yeah. So I'm gonna try to dive into that, and but I did learn Battletoads. Like I do have save states for Battletoads up to Klinger Winger, and then when I got to Klinger Winger on my flat screen TV, it's like, unless you do the pause trick, like you could get by with a pause trick. Like every time you go by a certain corner, you just pause and you could get ahead. But I might have to start looking for CRTs and looking out in the street and getting like 5 people to help me carry it upstairs. Just kidding.
no, you're not kidding. That's true. Yeah, they are. Like,
but Battletoads is it's such a great game though. Like I love the variety of it. It has so much personality. It's a great game. Like the music is so good. I love Surf City theme. So I love David Wise. I'm a huge David Wise fan. So that's why I could tolerate that wrestling game.
All right. Well, thank you also, Professor Retro. He just rated in here, so hopefully your stream went really well. Unfortunately, we are wrapping up, but anybody that's new to the channel, Notorious, we just did a speedrun friendly league race of 6 games. So I dropped the Discord in there if you're interested into doing some sort of community with a bunch of retro and stuff like that. Definitely look at that. But everybody check out Professor Retro. He's a Goonies 2 world record holder. Does a lot of awesome games as well too. Very kind, cozy time over there. But without further ado, I'm going to read over to Duber and everything like that. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Supa. Thank you, Thumb. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Bri. Thank you, everybody watching. You guys are all amazing. I hope you guys have the great rest of your evening and everything like that. And yeah. Let's read on over to Duber. Let's check out him. He's also part of the SFL, but he's doing I Want to Be That Guy. So take care. Adios.
GG's.
Bye forever.
Yeah.
Thanks for